If we've not taken steps to dismantle it, then we've not done anything. That's why I said a law is only as good as if it's enforced.
Okay.
We know their leadership. Are we holding them to account, or are we saying we don't even have intelligence on who their leadership? What of their structure today? I would challenge you. You can still go to their website. They still post items on their website.
The feud between the Nigerian security forces and the Islamic Movement of Nigeria is more than a decade-long conflict, with its peak being 2015, when a confrontation between the duo led to over 347 deaths of Shias who are members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria in Zaria. The latest clash occurred on Friday, 20th March 2025, during their procession, which led to the killing of 5 members of the proscribed group and 1 security personnel, an event that had led to a massive uproar, especially on the internet. Rootstv speaks to Dr. Kabiru Adamu, Managing Director, Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited, to help understand the continuous feud between the parties.
The second topic we're talking about is the issue, particularly the Nigerian security force and the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, that's IMN. Both parties have been having issues for at least more than 10 years now. I can recall.
Longer than that.
At the peak of their violence, whereby Zaria has lost at least 6 of his children in the hands of the security forces. He has lost his eye. So, looking at the incident that happened last week, one question that I want to do they have the right to protest? And if they do have the right, why should the Nigerian government be going after them? Or is it because they have been proscribed as a terrorist group, as a strip of any kind of Shiite constitution for protesting in Nigeria?
So, first off, let's deconstruct the issues. The Islamic movement in Nigeria is a registered organization. It has been proscribed. But the argument of the group is that it is a fate. They are saying that no one can proscribe their fate. What is their fate? They are Shia Muslims. So when they come out to process in the manner that they came out the other day, they are alleging that it is a religious activity. All over the world, Shia Muslims mark what they call Rootstv in remembrance.
Last Friday of every
Ramadan. And it does have a historical antecedent and of course significance in the Shia world. So that's the argument that it is an act, religious act, and because the religious act and because the current constitution guarantees religious freedom, they now hide under that and then come out to act in the manner. But then this is where I think the challenge is. I think the Nigerian state needs to do better. A law is useless if it's not enforced. No matter how good that law is, if you can't enforce it, it's as good as useless. When that incident happened, I felt bad because we know that, and I'm sure you probably have seen it, there was enough intelligence suggesting that there was going to be a procession. In fact, we've seen one of the highest offices in Nigeria writing a letter to all the security organizations 2 days before the incident, highlighting that the incident was likely to happen and telling them to take steps. Now, FCT Abuja has 6 council areas. Out of these 6 council areas, only 4 have ingress points. So are we now saying that our entire security government of the Federal Capital Territory cannot police these 4 ingress points to reduce the possibility of the convergence of the manner that we saw on the day of the procession? No, we can do better. This is the Federal Capital Territory. So are we saying that if those boys had intended to go to the villa, they would have done that? Again, I'm calling on the National Assembly to wake up and put pressure on the security department. We can't be giving them money in the manner that we have seen this type of failures. No, it's not acceptable. If you have credible intelligence, the essence of intelligence is to forewarn. And once you have forewarned, the logical sequence is that you prevent it. In this manner, we failed to prevent it. These boys were able to mobilize. Remember, if we were talking of them protesting in Suleja So okay, the security agencies were able to prevent them from entering, but they protested in Amman, not just in Amman, in Wuse too. So I think as a country we need to call a spade a spade. Look at ourselves in the mirror and say failures are no longer acceptable. This is a clear failure, and we must call it what it is. And we must put pressure. The National Assembly, like I said, the committees on security must wake up to their calling. Put pressure on the relevant security departments, in particular the police and the others, to make sure that we act in a manner that should prevent incidents like this before. It's a different thing if we didn't have the intelligence, or we had the intelligence and we failed to prevent.
To even put to what you said, when I saw the video, what I'm seeing is I'm even seeing like signs of presidential brigade, the one defending like capital against capital. But there's a key question that I'm trying to ask. Do they really have the right to protest? And if they do have the right,
so they are saying they are not protesting. What they are saying is that they are engaged in a religious procession.
Okay, let's say if in a religious procession, do they have the right to express their religion? Because of
the
constitution
work out. So
if they do have that,
the responsibilities on the public security departments to ensure it is done within the law. There is a precedent over that, where the law guarantees if you are an association and you want to act in any manner public, the law says the relevant security department must ensure that your activities and actions are done legally within the precepts of the law. And one interesting thing about this Islamic movement in Nigeria, it is very likely that procession would have ended peacefully if there was no attempt at forceful dispersal. Now, the reason why there was an attempt at forceful dispersal is because they are proscribed in the first place. So this is where we must, as a country, come to terms with the reality. I started by saying that don't pass a law if you can't enforce it.
So do you think that the Nigerian government was in a rush to proscribe them, knowing fully well they are also of a large,
I don't think they were in a rush. They proscribed. Remember, what was proscribed was the organization, not the religion. In fact, we can't even proscribe the religion. So, what steps have we taken to? Because an organization is what it is. If you've just proscribed it, or you've not taken steps to dismantle it, then you've not done anything. This is a public space. I'm mindful what I say. We must take steps to dismantle the organization, if at all we have proscribed it. If we've not taken steps to dismantle it, then we've not done anything. That's why I said the law is only as good as if it's enforced. We know their leadership. Are we holding them to account, or are we saying we don't even have intelligence on who their leadership? What of their structure today? I will challenge you. You can still go to their website. They still post items on their website. So what are we saying? We proscribe them, but we not dismantle them. So they're still able to mobilize. They're still able to organize. Their funding avenues, have we identified it? Have we blocked it? And all of that. So we must, again, I call on the National Assembly to really wake up to its responsibilities, put pressure on these guys, and especially the security department, make sure that they really are more. Let's talk politicizing security.
Okay. Another thing is that one of the major things I'm looking at this situation is, do you think the Nigerian government have managed the feud between, particularly because I've seen a situation where I schooled in Zaria, some of the security agencies also had a personal feud against them. Do you think they've managed this kind of feud between both parties well, whereby each party is not having this kind of arch enmity against each other?
So the truth of it is, if you look at the composition of Nigerian Muslims, almost about 90-something% are Sunni Muslims. And the likelihood that the particular security official who is confronting them with a Sunni Muslim is much higher than for that person to be a Shia Muslim. And so the likelihood that he is allowing his sentiments to guide his action is extremely high. In which case, if you now see reactions that are sometimes excessive, just like we've seen in the past, it's likely because of this sentiment. So I think we could have done better in terms of managing emotions, in terms of ensuring, for instance, that whatever biases we have, we don't allow these biases to affect the kind of work that we do. At the end of the day, I am a believer of equity and justice. Just because someone, for instance, is a Shia, does not mean if, as a Sunni Muslim, on Friday I'm allowed to block the room to pray. We should also allow the Shiites to do that. If Christians are allowed to block roads on Sundays, then why are we stopping the Shiites to do it? That's equity and justice. As a people, we must be able to express at least some semblance of equity, justice, and where possible inclusion too. So yes, I think there have been instances of excessive use of force in the past that were not justified and justified. And that's not in any way condoning some of the actions that we've seen by this. But again, like I said, if as Sunni Muslims are doing, if as Christians are doing, why are we not singling them out for accusing them of blocking the road?